Hello, and welcome to Your Vote Counts, a public informational, nonpartisan service program designed to get acquainted with the candidates vying for the 2022 primary races of Salem, City of Salem Mayor, Salem City Council, Marion County Commissioners, and Polk County Commissioners. These interviews come to you through the producers at Capital Community Media. Collaboration on questions and moderators from the Association of University Women, Salem City Club, League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk Counties, and neighborhood associations. All candidates for these races were invited, and all but two chose to participate. Candidates did not receive the questions prepared by the League of Women Voters ahead of time. Candidates were invited to prepare a 2-minute opening statement addressing their background and qualifications for the office, as well as a 2-minute closing statement addressing their goals for the office if they're elected. I'm Tomika Dew, a member of the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk Counties, and it's my pleasure to introduce Chris Hoy, who's running for mayor of the city of Salem. Welcome, candidate Hoy. We look forward to your opening statement.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. We're at a crossroad in Salem. We can build on the momentum we've created these past few years and move forward, or we can stop where we are and leave everything in limbo while we idle. Or we can reverse course and turn back around to the old road where decisions are driven by the developers who finance local campaigns. With so many people experiencing homelessness and so many living paycheck to paycheck, I'm running for mayor because we need to continue the progress we've made towards shelter, service, and affordable housing. We're in the midst of revising our laws and rules around transportation, climate action, parks, and other areas that will determine what kind of city we will be for many years. Now is not the time for a mayor who has to learn on the job. There's no time to spend learning what the city does or how things work. My life experience and public service have prepared me well for this job, and I believe I offer the vision and leadership to keep the city moving forward. I bring the experience of a fourth-generation Oregonian, the experience of a person born to a single mother struggling with substance abuse, the experience of a child placed for adoption, the experience of a person raised in a working-class family on the Oregon coast, the experience of a son whose mother suffered from mental illness who died while a patient at the state hospital, the experience of a 30-year law enforcement professional, the experience of a labor union local president, the experience of a person who has run a residential alcohol and drug treatment program, the experience of someone who has worked with domestic violence offenders and survivors, the experience of a Salem city councilor, the experience of the council president, the experience of the vice chair of the Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance, working with regional partners to tackle homelessness, the experience of the president of the Salem Housing Authority Board of Directors, and the experience of a state representative. We started addressing the challenges surrounding our unsheltered neighbors 5 years ago when I was first elected to the city council. And we've done a number of things to lay the foundation to solve the problem. We've created Safe Park, which supports churches and other organizations to host people living in their vehicles, to provide restrooms, showers, waste facilities, and a safe place to sleep. We've established managed micro-shelter communities and a number of other things. Salem is at a crossroad. I am very clear on which road we must take to go forward. I hope you'll join me on this journey.
Thank you for that background information. Now let's give you an opportunity to address our questions. Our first question is, what is your experience in working with diverse groups? What could be done to create a broader base city planning and decision-making situation?
Thank you for that question. I represent Ward 6 on the Salem City Council, and I have for the past 5 years. If you're not familiar with Ward 6, that's East Salem. It's the most diverse ward in the city. It's actually a majority minority ward. It's the only one in our city. So I've represented lots of folks from different backgrounds, different ethnicities for the last 5 years. This last year, I actually offered a motion that was adopted by council that would provide ALS and Spanish translation services for every city council meeting and funded that program. We'd never done that before. We'd only done it on an on-demand basis. And now we do it at every meeting. So people who use ASL or who speak Spanish can actually just tune into any one of our meetings. They don't have to call ahead. They don't have to request. I think that's a fundamental issue with access to city services. And so I look forward to broadening that to things, other meetings like the Planning Commission, other city meetings, so people from all over our community can engage actively without having to request a special accommodation to do so. So that's just one of the things I've done recently.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Let's explore our downtown situation. As you know, we've seen an increase in the number of empty downtown offices and buildings in recent years. How do we create a vibrant and livable downtown for businesses and citizens alike?
Thank you for that question. That's actually one of my priorities, is creating a vibrant downtown. And we've done a lot of things to help incentivize new building downtown, but we've got a long ways to go. We have an urban renewal area downtown that gives us an opportunity to help incentivize the building of housing and other things. So we've done that recently with a number of projects. We purchased the entire block that the old Union Gospel Mission sits on. That's owned by the Urban Renewal Agency now. We're getting ready to raise all of those structures and then sell that to a developer with some really intentional planning in mind in terms of what we would like to attract downtown. So that whole block will be redeveloped, hopefully in a mixed use type of structure. We have recently helped with the tax abatement at the old Nordstrom building. That is going to be turned into a residential apartment building here in the very near future. We've done that with a number of buildings downtown where we're trying to attract residents and make it an opportunity for people to really enjoy coming downtown, and where it's attractive to folks and where people want to make our downtown an active part of their recreation, where they do their business and where they live.
Thank you. What do you see as the role of the city in addressing employment issues? And how do we create jobs that address both declining economy and green jobs issues?
That's a great question. We work very closely with SEDCOR. So we have a contract with SEDCOR as the economic development arm for the city. They do that work for us. So I think the city's job is to create an atmosphere where local businesses can thrive, where people have the opportunity to visit those businesses, and where people we create an atmosphere where businesses can thrive, where they can be creative, where we can attract lots of a diversity of different kinds of businesses to our downtown and other areas of the city actually as well. So I think our job is to create an environment that's helpful.
And can you speak a little bit to how you see that creating more jobs?
Sure. I think small businesses are the driver of our local economy, downtown and otherwise. Mostly, most of our business sector in Salem are small businesses, and so the more we can attract those new businesses downtown and elsewhere, the more jobs there are going to be.
Thank you. What work is being done to assist in the refugee situation locally and connecting with it globally?
Yeah, there's a local group called Salem. I believe it's Salem for Refugees is the name of it, and it's a local group who are hosting and sponsoring refugees. I actually just met with a person from there the other day at one of our local neighborhood associations and invited her to come down to city council to speak, so the whole council can be more aware of the great work that's happening to help invite refugees into our community. Salem has a really strong reputation as a host city for refugees, and I would like to do whatever I can to help strengthen that relationship so we can continue to be a welcoming place for everybody.
Let's turn to climate change. What are the plans for presenting the Climate Change Task Force plan to the public? And how would you like to see it move forward toward adoption?
Thank you. I absolutely supported the creation of our climate task force, our climate action task force. And recently we passed a motion at City Council that would create an implementation subcommittee to actually take a look at 200 or so recommendations that task force came up with, and to create an implementation plan. I'm very happy that Mayor Bennett appointed me to that subcommittee, and so I'll be an active part of trying to find ways to implement those strategies. And so that work is still in front of us in terms of the implementation piece of it, but I'll be an active participant in that and look forward to doing so. I think climate action is critical for our city to get involved with. We're sort of a little bit late to the party, but it's never too late to start. We have to start, and we have to get moving on it and get some of those things implemented right away.
Thank you. What is the process for obtaining grants for mobile crisis intervention programs similar to Cahoots in Eugene to assist the police? What governmental entities approve resources for such programs?
Typically, funds for mental health services come through the state to the counties. Typically, county or cities in Oregon aren't a service provider for mental health. So a strong partnership with our county commissioners and our county partners is really important. And I'm really pleased to say that we have forged a strong relationship with them, where they're providing services at some of our housing programs. So in terms of how the grant process, I can't speak to the detail of that because I haven't read the recent proposal on how those would roll out. But typically, how that would work is a local group, an entity, whether it's a conglomeration of governments or if it's a single government, would get together and create an idea and a plan and write an application and then propose that to the funders. And I think that's the case in this situation with a Cahoots type model. I wish we could get away from using that phrase and just more to talk more about mobile crisis response, because we do a lot of mobile crisis response already. All of ours currently, however, involve it's a partnership between law enforcement and behavioral health. And I know the Cahoots type model is one that would not include law enforcement. And I definitely think that there is a role for that type of model in our community. The question is, what would be the scope? Who would be the driver of that type of program, and essentially who would run the program? I think those are still some of the questions that are outstanding. We thought we had a path forward on that, and that didn't work out. And so we're still looking at ways to make that happen.
Thank you. Let's turn to the subject of homelessness. What are the options for housing the homeless in our city? And how do we balance plans for the city's micro-shelter villages with neighborhood concerns?
Thank you. This is the area that I work most on city council. I'm the vice chair of the Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance, which is a group of folks from Polk County, Marion County, the city of Salem, city of Kaiser, Independence, Monmouth, the school district, the tribe, and all sorts of nonprofits working to create a regional approach to homelessness. Because it's a bigger problem than any one entity for sure. So in the city currently, we have, in terms of housing options, we have our managed micro-shelter communities. We have 2 of those going currently, and we have plans for a 3rd and a 4th one underway. We've approved those recently. We have permanent supportive housing. We have Redwood Crossings out on Fisher Road, which is it's a unit, it's 31 units for people with serious and persistent mental illness who have been experiencing homelessness. That's a partnership with Arches and also with Salem Health, who we provide respite beds there for formerly homeless individuals who are releasing from the hospital who need a place to be. And so it's a great partnership that's been going for the last year and a half. And also Marion County, that's one of the programs I was referencing earlier, where they actually provide mental health services and behavioral health services on site now at that program. We just broke ground recently on Uquina Hall, which will be a unit, 51 units permanent supportive housing on the old north campus of the state hospital. It's the old nurses' quarters. So we're renovating a building that has been unused for decades, and will provide housing, single occupancy housing for 51 individuals with serious and persistent mental illness. And then we have plans that should close in October out on Northeast Broadway on some property that the Housing Authority owns, where we will have a number of units for families, permanent supportive housing for families. So there's that. And we also have we've increased drastically the number of affordable housing units in Salem, those owned and operated by the Salem Housing Authority. But also recently, we have a number of developers through private development and in partnership with the Housing Authority. We just approved a partnership Monday night for a number of units out in Southeast Salem near Battle Creek. We have another one going on Southeast 27th out there. And then a bunch of others that we've done recently. We did a property tax abatement to help incentivize permanent supportive housing out on Portland Road 3 years ago, I think it was. And then we just recently did another one here on the north campus of the hospital grounds with an apartment building there where there's a number of affordable units. So we have a lot of affordable housing. The unfortunate part is that most people aren't aware of it, but we do have a number of, we've been really working to increase the number of affordable housing units in the city.
What proposals do you have for investing federal funds allocated for non-fuel vehicles and expanding the diversity of our public transportation?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one for me?
I'm sorry, yes. What proposals do you have for investing federal funds allocated for non-fuel vehicles and expanding the diversity of our public transportation?
Well, non-fuel vehicles, I'm not familiar with that actual phrase, if that means electric vehicles or if you're talking specifically about bicycles, but I'm not sure. I've not heard that actual phrase before, but I can tell you that I support a diversity of options for folks. I personally drive an electric vehicle. I have solar panels on my house, so I charge my car with solar energy most of the time. So I'm a big supporter of that. I have worked very closely with the folks at Chariots to try to increase the level of service that we have. Folks in my neighborhood rely on transit, and so it was critical that we get Saturday and Sunday service started, and we've done that. And I'm very excited to see their recent grants that they've received for electric buses. So looking forward to those options expanding in the city, because I think the more we can switch, get away from fossil fuels and other sorts of energy, vehicles that use other sorts of energy, the better off we are.
Terrific. Thank you for that. Candidate Hoy, it's your opportunity to now share your 2-minute closing statement about your goals for the office if elected.
Thank you. We started addressing the challenges surrounding homelessness when I first got on city council 5 years ago. And we've done a number of things to lay the foundation to solve the problem. I bring 33 years of public service with me to tackle the issues facing Salem today and on the road ahead into the future. A future with a revitalized downtown, a future where Salem has adequate housing and services to effectively address the critical issue of homelessness, a future where Salem embraces smart growth and makes important strides towards reducing greenhouse gas emissions, a future where we have a connected system of walking and bike paths, and a future where we value the environment, and a future where everyone in Salem has the opportunity to thrive. Salem is at a crossroad, and I'm very clear on which road we must take to go forward. I hope you will join me on that journey. Thank you.
And thank you, Chris Hoy, for our interview today and for sharing your thoughts.
Well, thank you. I've really appreciated the opportunity.
And thanks to Capital Community Media for their extensive technology and producer skills used to create this program. Thank you to the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk counties for the design and preparation of the program, and to AAUW and Salem City Club for help with the question development and providing moderators. And thanks to you, the public, for watching in order to become a more informed voter. For more local, state, and national voter information on candidates and ballot issues, visit vote411.org. You have until April 26th to register to vote or make changes in your voter registration. Ballots will be mailed on April 27th, and according to a new law, will be accepted if postmarked before or on May 17th. Elections matter. Remember to vote because your vote counts.